National Bucket. No, I get Bucket List Coach Web Show Live. Bucket List Coach Travel and
That's good
Tours.
too. Well, hello, hello, guys. Happy Sunday. April 24th is coming up, and we'll talk about it in just 3 seconds. Well, hello, hello. Cindy Lee here, Bucket List Coach, Web Show Live, and National BucketListDay.com. I am the founder of National BucketListDay.com since 2023. And also, I've had this podcast, Bucket List Coach Web Show, since 2017. And it all started based on Anthony Bourdain, everything he was doing. I was a chef for over 25 years and just got into the travel space, just like him, kind of following in his footsteps. So I'm very, very excited today to have my partner in crime all the way from Georgia, baby. How are
Yep,
you?
still in Dallas, Georgia for now. But yeah, I'm doing great, Cindy. Thank you so much for asking me to, get my butt off my couch for a few minutes on a lazy Sunday afternoon and talk to you and plug in. Far be it from me to stop the flow of good content. So I'm doing great, Cindy. I'm very excited about where we're at right now. I'm excited about the National Bucket List thing in April 24th. And should we do the big reveal now, or you want to talk a little more and let them wait?
I'm going to pop off because I'm going to share this in a few pages. So go ahead and tell everybody what you're up to, and I'll be back in a couple minutes.
All right, cool. So, hey, everybody, Robin C. Stern, and I am your Google guru. Now I'm working with Revenue University, and I'm kind of their, what do you want to call, poster child, out living my best life as a early retired husband and business owner. I still am receiving a paycheck from a business that I started 17 years ago. And my wife is getting paid every month from that lovely product that we all get when we reach a certain age and we start being able to draw back. It's called Social Security, and it's still alive, kids. They told us it would never make it until we were old enough to collect. But here we are. And guess what, Mom and Dad? You were wrong. It's still working. So my wife and I retired last year, and we decided to sell our house and just pack up what we could into our minivan with our dogs and travel the United States of America and just stay in Airbnbs from state to state and town to town, kind of going where we want to go and doing what we want to do. We have a lot of friends around the country, and we have a lot of places around the country we've never been, we've never seen. And I don't even know that I could list 5 of them on one hand of exact things I want to go do. I just know that I want to go do. And so rather than just hanging out and waiting for the house to fall down around us, we did exactly what we said. We sold our house. We sold everything that was left over after we took what we needed to go nomad on the road with our doggos, and just enough. Like when I tell you nomad on the road, Cindy, I have my old tool bag that I used to use fixing computers.
Right.
Now it's filled with my essential kitchen tools, knives, forks, cheese slicer and grater, and my spices, because you always go to an Airbnb and they don't have the right spices, So I got all my spices in my little tool bag, and that sits right on top. So when we get to an Airbnb, I immediately have my kitchen set up and I'm ready to start cooking, because that's, like you said, the Anthony Bourdain thing. I love to cook. I do most of the cooking in my house, and not because my wife can't, but because I love to do it. So we have just put everything we could in the car, sold everything else, gave away like half a house full of stuff over the weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, well, we did the estate sale, Cindy, and we had a professional come in who's a friend, and they did the estate sale, and they made a very good amount of money, enough for us to cover all the costs of the estate sale and even have some money left over after paying for we had the house cleaned for the new owner, top to bottom, 3 floors, all the walls and floors washed, and windows washed, and bathrooms cleaned and sinks scrubbed and all that good stuff, so they could come into a nice clean house. Didn't have to, but because we made so much money on the estate sale, we thought, why not? We were blessed. Let's go ahead and bless the new owner. It'll just make their first day in their new home that much nicer. And so after all that was said and done, we had a bunch of stuff left. and I had to get it all out of there. Okay. So the estate sale was last weekend, and I had the week, and I had some people that had said they wanted to come and get it. But I said, you know what? They haven't shown up. I can't sit and wait. I put it on Facebook Marketplace. I literally took a few pictures of the stuff that was there, and I just posted it free. And I put a post on a website called Nextdoor. I don't know if anybody uses it.
Very familiar. Mm-hmm.
I got on Nextdoor and I said, look, you as a community, you guys were so good to us. You came and bought so much of our stuff that I just want to offer the rest of it to anybody that needs it. If you need bedding or a bed or a couch or a love seat or any of the things in these pictures, just come get it. It's yours. We're going to give it all away. Cindy, I had one small trailer of stuff left that had to be toted away. One entertainment center that was just too big for anybody, you know, but it was so great to see it happen. And now that just happened. The last thing went out Friday, and I moved the last item that had to be moved yesterday. So today is my first day of actually not having to go and do anything with my old house or move anything related to my old house. And I can tell you honestly, the freedom that I feel right now is off the charts, absolutely off the charts. We are so excited to go out and start traveling and showing people how to live this kind of life, how to use all the life hacks and all the skills that I've learned over the years as an entrepreneur and as a business owner and as a father and as a husband to be able to now navigate this retirement thing and really track what we're doing so that other people can try and reproduce it if they choose. So
yes,
I will tell you, we're having a great time.
We always talk about it even when you're a co-host with me, we talk about almost every time. We have the day we're born, the day we pass away.
That's
you know,
it.
so many people are not living that in between time. I mean, I was one of them. I existed most of my life, and everyone is doing the hamster. Get up, make breakfast, go to work, come home, do it again.
Sleep, get
you
up.
know, in America, the average worker, W-4 worker, does not take a vacation. There's some people that wait until they retire. You could walk out that door, hit your head, game over.
You know what? It's funny that it's a progressive insurance commercial where she says, when do you take a vacation? She goes, you mean that little time in the truck when I park and I'm not off for a moment at a stoplight? No. She's like, stop what you're doing and go somewhere. She had no idea what she was talking about.
Well, here's
exactly what you're saying.
A lot of people think that National Bucket List Day is related to, I'm going to go to Greece and, you know, which I'm going to do that next year. I'm going to go to Hawaii or wherever you want to go. But that is not true. The bucket list is not just travel. It's your weekly goals, your monthly goals, your every 6-month goals. What do you want to do in a year? What do you want to do in 5 years? But more importantly than that, National Bucket List Day was all started around my love for food and my love for gratitude. So you want to kind of emphasize on that a little bit on how you feel about that holiday.
You know, Cindy, I can't even begin to tell you that the amount of gratitude that we have to not only allow ourselves to feel, right? So there's the big piece of it, I think, is people feel like I shouldn't be allowed to have all this. So I don't want to be grateful for it because I almost feel guilty that I have it. And I'll tell you, that is a lie, a lie, a lie. You should be grateful and you should do it out loud and you should make sure the whole world knows. Gratitude is one of the number one ways to restore health, to change your thought process from dark thoughts to light thoughts. Number one way to get you motivated to do something instead of being stuck in a rut is to be grateful. And I think it's something so many people don't allow themselves to be grateful just for what they have on a daily basis. I'm living in a 2-bedroom apartment from a 4,000 square foot house.
Oh,
I am so grateful. I'm so grateful that we got rid of everything. I'm so grateful that my wife is resilient and adaptive and she's willing to go on this crazy ride with me. You know, we loaded everything up in a little red wagon and walked down to the common area last night and then cleaned off that nasty, cruddy common area grill. And I cooked hamburgers and hot dogs on the grill. And we sat out on the picnic table out there. And I looked around at this beautiful space and I said, this would cost me $50,000 to put in my backyard. But I get to use it for free because I'm staying in this Airbnb that happens to be at this nice little apartment complex, right? So there's every chance in the world to be grateful. You just have to choose to do it. And that's what
How are you grateful to Mr. Tristan?
Oh, I don't know. Mr. Tristan is one of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life. I'm grateful to Mr. Tristan for a lot of things, but mostly just for being my brother in Christ and sharing truth with me, because that's what Tristan and I do a lot of together. Is we
Mhm.
are very transparent with each other about our faith, and it's leads to some great conversations and some mind changing things that you can really break out of ruts and break out of years of wrong thinking, right? That's been messing you up, and you can see a difference and a change. So I'm grateful to Tristan for that. Plus, he invited me to the party I went to in Manhattan in January.
Oh, the
The
one I was
bourbon,
invited to.
yeah,
Okay.
the bourbon club party. That was so crazy. I got to meet
Yeah.
Chris Voss and get a bottle of bourbon from him. That was really really cool. So that's what I'm grateful to Tristan for. Thanks, Tristan. Thanks for showing up, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to show you what I got going on here in beautiful Surf City, USA. We have a
Yes,
lot going on.
let's see it.
And the CEO of National Day Calendar, Amy Monette, she's one of the partners who gave me this national beautiful holiday, National Bucket
Okay.
List Day.
Yep. Yep.
So 4 days of amazing SoCal fun. Being that she hasn't been to the area, I wanted to make sure that she is fully engulfed in some amazing experiences. So I'm also a member of the Fountain Valley Chamber of Commerce here in Fountain Valley, California. And so we're going to just do some girlfriend things during the day. And so the group thing is going to be at the Creative Ice Company. That would be April 21st at 6 p.m. So what's very unique about Creative Ice Company is their ice cream is actually shipped from Wisconsin. And they also have the famous Hawaiian ice. And, a lot of the Hawaiian ice has that high fructose corn syrup, but hers does not. So, like for me, I can't have a lot of those types of sugars. Like I can't
Right.
have soda or anything like that. So it's a really great way to pay it forward. And yesterday she had an event for anybody to bring an item that wasn't a cup. And, you buy the ice cream and stuff like that. I found a plastic cup that I got from Seattle last year. My friend Lisa and we went to the I can't think of the name of the place right now, but it's a pirate ship out of Seattle, and they have these little pirate shaped little mugs. And yesterday when I was taking it over, I'm like, oh my god, what's underneath here? And there was a battery underneath that, and I turned it on, it was flashing. I'm like, well, that's kind of a unique Cindy thing to do. Pirate,
Yes.
and I'm going to find something unique for my ice cream. So that's what I did yesterday. But our actual party will be on Tuesday. And then April 22nd is a very important day to me, one of my favorite national holidays, and it's National Earth Day. But although April 22nd is in the middle of the week, anybody who wants to do a beach cleanup or a city cleanup or park cleanup, you could do it anytime during that week. Matter of fact, you could do it anytime during the month. So we're going to go to Davy's Locker. We're going to watch some dolphins, and then we're going to do some paddle boarding. And then
Nice.
on the 23rd, I have my amazing interview with KTLA right in the studio, right there in Los Angeles, right outside of Hollywood. So I
Very
have
cool.
that in the morning, and then we're heading over to Disney, and then we're going to close the day over at the Trader Sam's Tiki Bar, which is right at the Disneyland Hotel. And then
Nice.
we have a couple restaurants that we're stimulating for breakfast and lunch and dinner and whatnot. And it's going to be amazing. I mean, we have a rooftop bar where when the sun goes down, you can see the beautiful beach and the pier, of Huntington Beach. And so we're going to do the rooftop bar for a few hours. And then we're heading over to Hurricanes, which is an amazing staple here in Huntington Beach, right in the heart of Main Street. Just absolutely beautiful place. So
Awesome.
that's some of the stuff that I'm doing. And the 26th is National Pretzel Day. So I'm going to be going out to a German restaurant that I've been doing a collaboration with. I just was there last Sunday, and they had a spring festival that's going on until the middle of May. So that's what I'm doing for the next week. And how about you?
I am doing nothing for the next week. Maybe you motivated me. I'll go see if I can find one of those little grabber things on the end of the handle, so I can go around. Maybe I'll walk around the apartment complex here, and I'll pick up any garbage I see for National Earth Day. How about
Oh,
that?
okay. And
Good
how
try.
about Bucket Day?
Cindy, I'm living my bucket. I don't know. I'm gonna
That's
have to come up
true.
with something special because I'm living my bucket right now. I don't know how many people can understand after 40 years of owning a home, the weight that comes off your shoulders when you just
Mhm.
say, I'm not going to do that anymore. So I don't know. I'll have to come up with something. Maybe Elaine and I'll go out and do a really nice expensive dinner. There's a rooftop restaurant in Atlanta that
Oh, wow.
spins
Okay.
360 degrees. The whole restaurant spins on top of
Wow.
the Westin Hotel. Yeah. Maybe
Mhm.
we'll go out and spend some money and have a really nice fancy dinner at the Westin Hotel for National Bucket List Day. But I'll keep you updated as the day approaches, and we'll see where it goes.
Well, awesome. We have about 15 minutes left. Is there anything else you want to cover, or you want to go into some more bucket stuff?
I would really share all of the ways that we're doing our travel and how we're using all the apps and everything. And
Mhm.
I am a teacher just by nature. I teach a lot of different classes and kids as well as senior citizens, and I find I'm always teaching. We were just having a little moment right before we got on here, and I was teaching something to Cindy, and she taught me something at the same time, so it was very good. But I would like to really kind of, as I'm doing this process, show and teach our older generation of fellow Americans how to navigate all these apps, how to not go into what you're doing fearfully because
Mhm.
you've done the homework, you've done the research, you've looked the places up, you've done the people background thing, you know what's going on, and you know how to use all the technology so you can confidently navigate this stuff. I'll give you a for instance. I flew to Chicago to visit a friend with a backpack on my shoulder and my cell phone. I got to the airport in Chicago and I needed to get on the train going to Navy Pier. It doesn't go all the way. You got to get on a bus but I needed to get going that direction. The only train that leaves that airport is the orange train. I come down the escalator to where the train platform is, and here's all these older folks, touristy looking kind of group, and they're all
Mhm.
around the MetroCard kiosk, trying to look at the screen and squinting and shielding the sun, and they're trying to read it. And I whip my phone out and I go to Google Pay and I hit my, whichever credit card I want to use, and I go to the turnstile and I go beep with my phone, and I go through the turnstile and I get on the train because you don't need a Metro card anymore. If you
Oh,
have a
wow.
digital wallet, you just pay with your phone. It sends you an immediate receipt instantly, and you get your transfers are now linked to your phone. So when you get off the train and need to get on the bus, when you beep it on the bus, it doesn't charge you another $5. You get two transfers included with that first beep. Knowing that, and knowing I don't have to stop at that kiosk, how much time and anxiety does that shift if I know I can just go to my digital wallet and tap it on the turnstile as I walk through? That's
Mhm.
almost all transits in all major cities now use that system. And all you have to do is have your one credit card on Google Pay. And the beauty of that, here's the next step. Well, my phone gets stolen. It's locked. What are they going to take my information? It's actually safer to use a digital wallet rather than the actual credit card because your credit card is linked to Google. When you pay with your phone, Google makes the transaction with the vendor. You don't. They issue a fake number that is used to track the transaction. It's just a made up number. And then Google comes back and says, oh, that transaction was for Robin. It was $5. And Google takes the $5 from you and says, this is where you spent your $5. It's beautiful. You got a running track of it. You can go back and look at it in one place, and it's safer than actually using the card. So knowing that is something that gives me great peace when I'm dealing with traveling in new areas and new metropolitan spaces. So those kind of things are the ones I really want to help people with as we're doing it. But what I've gotten more of is you better document where you're going and show us what you're doing, and we want to see everything. So we're working on the Instagram thing. Um, Again, I have no idea how to use Instagram. I can go look at it. I can post a picture, but I have no idea how to do the highlight reels and how to set up the different categories on your Instagram page so you can categorize things.
Collaboration is great. Have you
The
used the
collaboration?
collaboration? Yeah.
No, I don't know
It's
anything.
the
So
best tool. Oh my, and you can do that on Facebook. So if you collaborate on Instagram, so say for instance, I want to collaborate on some of the stuff we did today and I'm doing some shorts, I can add you as a collaborator. You see it, you accept it. And I don't even have to send you the video. It automatically goes there. And
nice.
what I understand, Facebook, you can only have one collaborator. but on Instagram you could have up to 5, unless they've changed it, over the last couple months. But I want to say, since I'm an Apple user, one of the things I like is when I book my flight, I could put that flight into my Apple Wallet.
The same with Google. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that's really amazing. So
and then your boarding pass, it's not dependent on you having an internet connection. The other thing I like to do is take a screenshot of my boarding pass, right? If you take the screenshot of it, then even if the internet connection's gone, you can pull the photo up because it's on your phone.
Exactly.
And there's your boarding pass.
Great idea. So a couple more things I'm doing for the bucket list here in the next month, actually. So on the 29th, I'm heading to Northern California, hanging out with some of my teammates. Actually, I'm leaving on the 27th, but the 29th, I have an event with the Franchise Tax Board. They wanted me to do a wellness booth. So I do a lot of wellness trips and stuff like that. So, but on the 27th, we're going to this place called Cattlemen's in Rancho Cordova for National Prime Rib Day.
Nice.
And I come back home, and then it's 2 weekends in a row of Top Gun. So the first weekend on the 16th through the 17th, I'm collaborating with, the restaurant that had the piano, Kansas City Barbecue. So we're doing a collaboration then. And then I come back on the one that you're missing. The 22nd is Top Gun movie. The 23rd is Maverick. And the 24th is Meet the Pilots, which will get you.
May? That's
May.
in May?
Every May, yes.
Well,
yeah.
Hold that thought.
Next year, yeah.
Hold that thought. No, because I may be driving out to the West Coast. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be, but hold that thought.
So I do have a little hack for those of you who are very interested in learning more about Virgin Cruises, or even a lot of the cruises that do repositioning. So the brilliant lady just arrived to LA a few weeks ago. And you remember Henri, one of my business partners. She did the 14-day cruise from East Coast to here. Wow. And I wasn't able to do the cruise that a few of my partners are going on the 26th. And she said, well, why don't you do a repositioning cruise? I said, that's actually cool because it has Catalina as a stop, San Francisco. So when I'm in San Francisco, I'm there for, I believe, 8-9 hours. So I'm going to go to the House of Prime Rib. It's one of my favorite one of my Anthony Bourdain's favorite places. And then Astoria, Oregon, which I heard is a really cute little town, nice little bucket town. And then I end in Victoria. And then the next day we get to Vancouver, or I get to Vancouver because I'm doing a solo trip. And then I come back. And then that's nice. 3 or 4 days later is, the Top Gun. But so when a lot of these ships are repositioning, the fare is a little bit lower because normally for a balcony runs around $3,800 to $4,000 for a balcony.
Right.
And I got it for $1,600.
Get out of here.
I said, I'm out of here. Yeah. Midship, sea terrace, which on Virgin Sea Terrace is the same as balcony, and I couldn't turn down. But that's I have not been to Victoria since I was in 11th grade. I don't know if I told you, I used to play the clarinet for about 10 years. And I spent an amazing time there, although I was only 16, 17 years old. But it's going to be great to go back there, see the Bouchard Gardens, and then spend a couple hours in Vancouver. So nice. I've never been to Vancouver either. So just so many different little hacks. I mean, you could reach out to myself. You could reach out to Robin. I have a upcoming travel book that's coming up probably at some point next year. I'm working on my entrepreneur book right now. I'm on my last chapter. So thank you so much for, helping me through everything that I've been through, with my mom's dementia and stuff like that I had to take about 8 months off writing the book. But I'm thinking I might even do it on the cruise because I have the 3
There you go.
So
yeah, there you go. Very good.
Yes. So, but it's just amazing how you can find ways to get out of a situation. Because if we're paying on a house, or even if the house is paid for, you still have your taxes,
your maintenance,
your
yard,
your maintenance,
the roof,
if
everything.
You have a pool, all that. And when you have a
electric,
house, you really
HOA,
have to get all that done.
Yeah. And you can't just you can't stop doing it. So we have found another little life hack, and I don't really want to share it because I'm afraid if too many people do it, then I'll miss out.
I have a friend doing it already. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a thing called Trusted House Sitters. Mm-hmm. And you sign up and get background checked, and then you get to go stay in people's homes and watch their pets, and you don't have to pay anything.
Wow.
So the trade-off is you get to hang out wherever it is they are and use all their resources for nothing. And the place we're going has an old gray. The first place we're going has an old greyhound who's 9 years old and doesn't want
Oh,
to have
nice.
any. She doesn't
Yeah.
want to do anything to do with anybody. She just wants to sit in the sun, be fed twice a day, and maybe chase a ball once or twice. The other dog's like a 3-year-old husky, so she's going to want to play and run and be brushed, and so they want somebody there doing that for them while they're gone for 17 days. So the first place we're going when we leave here is Pensacola, Florida, and we'll be
Oh, I love
sitting in
it
a
there.
house in Pensacola. Yeah. So this is a hack that I think if I work this properly, this is our life for the rest of our eternity. This is it.
Did you
Because
ever
this is a
see
lot
the
of fun.
movie The Holiday? It was kind of a chick flick. Did you ever see that movie? I
Which
think it
one?
was late 90s or something. The Holiday?
No.
Yeah, and it was two people. One person was in Europe and the other person was in LA, and they switched. They switched homes for the holidays.
Got it.
It
Got it.
actually was pretty interesting. Like, wow,
Well,
that's
it's funny because
fun.
you say that there's a lady in Florida that goes for 2 months every summer to the Pacific Northwest because she's wanting to explore the Pacific Northwest. So
Beautiful.
she goes and finds somebody up there that wants to go to Florida, and she goes and spends 2 months in their home, and they come and spend 2 months in her place in Florida. So she puts it on this website if she doesn't have somebody to trade with, and then she just goes and looks for somebody up there and then finds somebody to sit hers, and she's basically doing it because she doesn't want her plants to die. She
That
needs
might
the
be
mail
great
brought
in
in.
my book. That is a great idea because I was thinking about staying. I have a couple of friends in Mexico I could stay with, but that might even be a better idea because I'm
Well, I will let you know. Our first one starts on the 17th of May,
okay.
and then we go straight from there to another one in Tampa, and then I have a break where I'm going to see an old friend who's in Pompano. We're actually going to
I love it
stay.
there. Yeah.
We're gonna stay in a hotel because we want to get right on the ocean front there. So I'm not going to try and do a sit, but the whole month before that's being paid for because we're sitting. So if I spend $1,000 for a week at a oceanfront hotel, big deal, So we're excited about that. And then we go up to the mountains in North Carolina for almost 3 weeks after that for 2 doggos up there. Three,
Wow.
I think.
So I'm going to close out.
With her towel. That came all the way from Portugal via Robin Stern.
I have a Portugal trip that I need to turn in, have a flight that I need to turn in. So let's talk about Portugal real quick and then we'll close out.
They do trusted house sitters in Portugal.
Oh, Lord mercy.
I'll get the house. You get the ticket for the plane. I'll get the house and we'll go stay in Portugal for a week or two.
Yeah, I haven't.
There is.
December
There's house sits in Portugal. For
is
sure.
There really? Wow.
There is. No,
but you didn't go during the 150-foot wave. You went before.
No, I just went in the spring. We just went for the sunshine and everything. No, the 150-foot waves are usually in the wintertime.
Yeah.
The 100-foot wave, not 150, 100-foot.
Yes. She starts to break in November.
Yep. Well, or if you get some wild, crazy hurricane that doubles back and goes over and aims right at Southern Europe, they can get them in the middle of the summer. They don't usually, but in the fall, when the hurricanes are coming, if one of those things cuts back hard and is still pretty powerful as it goes across the Atlantic back into Europe, they can get some pretty gnarly waves in the summer too, in the fall. So,
but it is a little chilly in November, December, because I did look up the weather.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's going to be. It's cool. It's not desert for sure. You're on the coast. It's going to be a little cooler. Yeah. But May was gorgeous. We went the second half of May. Oh my gosh, I'd go every year at that time if I could. It was beautiful. And the beauty of it is that last 2 weeks of May. Here's a little life hack, right? You don't like the crowds, but yet you like all the services. With beach towns, if you go in the winter, half the places are closed because there's no business. But at the second week of May, they're getting ready to open back up the 1st of June. So all the vendors are back setting up. All the restaurants are opened back up. But the tourists haven't shown up yet.
Yeah.
So all the parking lots are still free. All the street parking is still free. All the places are pretty much empty, but they're all geared up and ready to go because they know in 2 weeks or a week, they're going to be slammed with all these tourists and business is going to. But you get all of that with no crowd. It's beautiful. We had so much fun.
The price, because I checked September, October, and that hotel, the little Airbnb thing that you told me about, I checked that one, and also some of my vendors. Yeah, because I'm I'm an agent with Expedia Tap, which is the
Okay.
agent version of Expedia.
Yep.
And I found that same exact hotel from $600 to $800 for the whole week, depending on if you want just a regular room or the balcony was $800 for the whole
And
week.
you get the rooftop hot tub and
Mhm.
sun lounge
Yeah,
and your steps from the sand. Your steps from the sand. It's so
exactly.
beautiful there. Yeah.
And so, what food stuff did you find there?
Food?
What's your favorite staple there?
Oh, sardine sandwich. Oh my, I would never eat a sardine to save my life, I don't think. But boy, when they're fresh and they're with that, they have this olive oil spice thing that they do on the bread and put a little bit of sun-dried tomato paste on the, oh my gosh, those were so good with a cold beer. Yeah, I had a couple of those while I was over there. But they're also big. They eat a lot of lamb. So lamb chops, I never really was a fan. My dad used to feed us lamb chops when I
Ooh,
was
I
a
love
kid.
lamb with the mint jelly. That's
But
my
that made me so sick. I was so disgusted by the mint jelly. I don't know
oh,
why.
great.
It was a kid thing, but my dad insisted on it, so I felt like you had to have it. And then I
Mhm.
grew up and I was like, I don't want lamb chops. It's gross. I don't want it. We went to Portugal. They said one of the staples of Portugal is lamb and shrimp, which I'm not a huge, I like shrimp, but I'm not a huge fan. So one of
Oh,
our first nights, I order a bottle of wine, which by the way, it says 15 on the menu, and I'm thinking per glass.
yeah.
That was the whole freaking bottle, 15 bucks, 15 euros, right? So I order a bottle of wine, and they bring this beautiful bottle of wine. It tastes great. And they ordered the prawns and garlic and the grilled lamb chops, one of our first meals in
Oh,
Portugal. And girl, I'm telling you, I am a fool. I don't know why I have not been eating lamb chops. Those things
is
are
that the one
good.
across the ways you told me about, or was that did you drive to that one?
No, this one was when we were in was it in Lisbon the first couple of nights?
Okay.
No, no, maybe it was in Nazaré.
Okay.
What, or, or was that in Spain? We had lamb chops, honey. Was it when
I
we
don't
went to
remember.
Ronda? I think it was when we went to Ronda. Anyway,
Oh, so it was in Spain. Okay.
it was down. So the roads there are these little tiny alleyways. They look like a back alley that you would never walk down if you were in New York City. But those are the roadways. Those are the sidewalks. They're big, tall buildings and little narrow alleyways.
Oh, yeah.
So you're walking down this like little narrow. It's a one-way road, two tire tracks, enough room for you to stand. You kind of step in a doorway if a car goes by. And we walk to the other end of the block, and here's this little cafe. It's got the tables outside and the stretched tarp covering over the top, and
Mhm.
you walk in, and there's a beautiful little restaurant there. And this is just how it's just not the same as, you don't have to be on the main drag, if you will, like you do here.
Mhm.
Everywhere is the main drag, so don't pass up a little alleyway or you don't know what you're going to find. You turn down a little
Yeah.
cool corner, and there's a little shop or a little restaurant or a little cafe, and it's really cool in Portugal, and Nazaré especially, because it's so
Oh, yeah.
old and it's right at the
Mhm.
water. So everything is on top of each other, but it's all right there. It's so neat. It was so fun.
The only thing about Nazare though is the flight to get there. Yeah, so my flight is free, but the other flights run in about 1,500. But I don't do non-refundable flights anymore because currently, right now, especially with the half government shutdown, yeah, it's always good to do that, especially for my trip to Hawaii because I'm going to do a canoe scattering of my mom's ashes, and I
Right.
changed my flight. But because there was some stuff going on in North Shore in Hawaii, so I'm glad I changed my flight after I booked refundable, because if it was
Right.
non-refundable, I would have been out around $1,700.
Yeah, that would be good.
So super important right now. But there's another show we're going to talk about. You're going to be in my upcoming travel book as well, and you're in both of my books. So wanted to thank you for that. And most importantly, what are you grateful for today?
you know, I'm really walking in a space right now where I am at a place in my life where I acknowledge the power of the universe and the thing that keeps my heart beating and my lungs breathing.
Mhm.
And my son having just had surgery. I have an older sister who's in the hospital right now. I'm
Oh,
grateful for time, and I'm grateful for just the power that runs the universe. I'm very aware of it right now, and I'm very grateful for that.
well, since you're on here, I want to send my gratitude to your son Tyler, and he's just been absolutely amazing. And there's a new employee there has been absolutely fantastic. Sometimes when I have issues, because my computer is over 5 years old and I've been having more issues than usual, and they are on it and absolutely amazing. And our friendship started because I went to a Zoom that you're on from the East Coast, all because of the dad joke. And you know what? We're going to close out with the dad joke because it is National Humor Month, baby. Let's go. Make it clean or not.
Oh, come on. I just had one the other. What was the dad joke I just said, Elaine? I said that would be a great dad joke. It was about the rap. Wasn't it about your rap this morning? What was it? I don't remember. We were at the dog park.
I don't even remember the dad joke that you gave me back 5-6 years ago.
I thought it was the why do gulls only fly over? What do you call a gull that flies over the sea? Or why gulls only fly over the bay? Because if they flew over the sea, flew over the bay, they'd be bagels. Why do gulls only fly over the sea? Because if they flew over the bay, they'd be bagels. Bay gulls, sea gulls. Sorry.
That's all you got? You got another one?
Oh, probably.
We got to get Darshan back on here.
Oh my gosh, I wasn't prepared, Cindy. You should have given me like 30 seconds, and I would have been a little better off. A dad joke. I'm pulling a complete blank. Completely blank. I'm sorry.
Well, let's talk about, and then we're closing out. Let's talk about how important humor in our daily life is, and how you being humorous with others can literally change the whole trajectory of their life.
It changes everything. It changes everything. It changes every interaction. It takes people with a sour look on their face because of the unknown to them. So they're like this because they're not sure. And as soon as you turn on a little bit of humor and that lighthearted tone, people are completely disarmed and it shuts them down. I had a gentleman in New York that I was walking my dogs up there. We were there for 6 weeks, visiting my mother-in-law in Brooklyn. And we were walking around the block a couple times a day. And every day in the afternoon, there was this guy out on his front porch. He's literally, 5 feet away from me as I'm walking by, smoking a joint. It's legal in New York. You do whatever you want. That's your personal property. Do what you want. That's fine. But the point was, every time I walked by him, at first, he didn't even look up. And then a couple of times I'd say something to my dog as I walked by. She'd try and, sniff her way towards him. And I'd be like, you're not walking with him. Come on. And so I engaged. I engaged with him without him even knowing it. And by the time we left, he was nodding his head at me saying good afternoon or hey. We were actually connected and engaged. And it was just a little bit of joking with the dog and the lighthearted tone and him seeing that I was somebody who could be interacted with and I was safe. And I think that humor is so necessary because it allows us to position ourselves. For me, I call myself the chief of toxic optimism because I have such a great attitude about so many things. It makes people sick sometimes, but I truly have that feeling. And so between gratitude and then being able to just be a little silly and not take yourself so serious. I mean, this thing that we're doing with the house sitting, I start off my introduction to each person I'm, asking if I can come sit their pets. I started off with my wife and I recently retired, and we're learning to master the art of sponging. We get to stay in people's houses for nothing and take care of their dogs.
Yeah.
It just that sets the tone right off the bat that people can say, oh, this guy's a joker. And either they're going to hate it. And in that case, I don't have to deal with them. And I probably wouldn't have gotten along with them. Or they go, oh, that guy's he's funny. He's going to be a good guy to work with. And it keeps going. And they realize that we can get along and work great. So I think humor is very necessary. And
if you need a referral letter, I'm your girl.
I appreciate that, sis. You know what? I don't think it's going to take very many of us doing the sits because I'm already telling my wife, like, okay, so we'll have fresh flowers for the wife when they get home. And I'll scope out what kind of beverages the guy has in the house while we're there. And if he's a bourbon drinker, I'll find a nice bottle of bourbon to leave there for him. We're going to do nice things for our hosts so that we're remembered, we're reviewed very nicely, and they'll probably want us to come back every time they go on vacation, right? So we'll have these places all over the country where we're going to be wanted to come back to, and we get to hang out with these cool animals and take care of their pets. So I'll stay tuned. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, and we've talked about this before, the know, like, trust, remember in the business arena. And that's the same for what you're doing. For me, when I have some people stay at a hotel or a cruise or whatever, I send a gift to their room. Or when I'm working with a vendor, like I work with a vendor in Orlando, Florida in November, and I sent all of the couple of the staff members a brownie, and then it had my logo and then the logo of the hotel. So little things like that. It's all about the remember factor. And that I'm really glad that you're doing that, because that's a really cool idea. So
well, and let me flip that one step further with the flying. And I know right now flying is horrible. I haven't had to fly since February or March, so I'm very grateful for that. But I even fly discount flights because I'm one of these people that the time doesn't bother me. If they delay or have to go tomorrow, that's fine. So I've been using Frontier a lot, and those people get get abused though. I mean, they get abused a lot by a lot of people, and I have found that what I do when I get on the plane is they have trading cards for the planes. I don't know if you know that, but every plane has an animal.
Aviation person. Oh yeah, I get that.
Every plane has an animal, and they have the cards, and you can trade them with the flight attendants. And so I take one of the new cards and I wrap a $10 or a $20 bill around it. And when I go to get on the plane, I go to the first flight attendant I see and I say, "Hey, I'm sitting in 2C. When we are able to get a drink, would you bring me a black coffee and a bourbon? And oh, by the way, if you have any of the new trading cards, I'd like to see what you got." And I hand them that. Now, that gratitude alone, that interaction just set my bar so much higher than every other passenger on that plane. I am now a favored guest. I am a friend. I have acknowledged their value. For $10, I have the best flight ever. And the guy sitting next to me gets treated like everyday citizen, right? So remember that simple little gesture. And so doing those things for people, like as we're leaving their houses, or even in the Airbnbs, doing something nice for the host as you leave, they're going to give you a great review. You're going to have all the other people you go to stay with read, "Oh, this guy does this. He left a nice card. He fixed the doorknob that was sticking in the bathroom," right? Like whatever. Those things will be following you around, and even not physically manifested, but in the whole realm of the goodness of time, space, all that positive karma will never leave you cold.
Yeah, I have a friend, the name of her business is Smiley777, and she'll send out the little plastic yellow smileys. And I always give that to the pilots and the flight attendants. But sometimes I get in trouble because some flight attendants aren't really as engaging. So I'll go up to the pilot and first officer. "Hi, my name is Cindy. I'm an aviation podcaster." And they'll be like, the flight attendants will get all.
Yeah, they spaz.
Yeah. But one time I actually had a conversation with the captain and the first officer because they were sitting right next to me getting on the plane. And they said, "Oh, no, she's good. She's an aviation show person and all that." And then sometimes they say, "Hey, you want," like if the first officer will stay and the captain will leave, and the first officer will say, "Hey, you want to get in the captain's chair?" I'm like, "Heck yeah."
You're dang right.
Yeah, that's actually on my business flyer is me in the plane. So it's just really amazing on how we can make a difference. And we went way over today, but this podcast will be coming in different shorts, throughout the week, throughout the day.
Of course.
So thank you for being here. And one shout out, do you have your hashtag yet for your new brand name?
I think SpongeRob Travel Pants. That's the hashtag. I think so. I just came up with that last night. We were walking the dogs and I was like, you know what? I should become like SpongeRob Travel Pants. And my wife laughed and I punched it into Gemini, and Gemini was like, "That is marketing gold. You are going to not only tell people kind of how you are ahead of time because of the quirkiness, but it's going to draw on people's memories of SpongeBob. So you're going to really pull it in." So I think that may be my pseudonym for the travel book that I'm writing.
Definitely.
We'll see how that goes. All right, Cindy.
Okay. So we are out, guys, and I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. Celebrate National Bucket List Day on the 24th of April, 2026.
There it is.